everyone, and welcome to our Open Talk series on ODeL Teaching Innovations. I am Aleta Villanueva from the Faculty of Education, your host and moderator for today. The title of our talk is Innovative Instructional Approaches in ODeL. This episode is brought to you by the Center for Open and Digital Teaching and Learning. So we also have here today the director, Professor Ricardo Bagarinao. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Okay, this activity is also in collaboration with the Faculty of Education, Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, and the Faculty of Management and Development Studies. So, to our viewers, if you have any comments or questions later, you can easily put it in the chat box. And allow me to welcome our speakers for today. Our first speaker is Dr. Juvie Lizette Hervasio, okay, from FMDS. Interesting to note that Dr. Juvie in 2012 published an article on digital education and future skills of public servants. This paper discussed digital education and its role in developing the capacities and future skills of public servants in the context of the Master of Publication Management program of UPOU. It also presented how activities can be redesigned to develop future skills. Okay, she is also the research coordinator of the Non-Formal and Formal Learning of Asia-Europe Meeting, or ASEP. Good afternoon, Professor Javi. Okay, and then our second speaker is Assistant Professor Cecil Moldes, who has been teaching courses from the Bachelor of Arts in Multimedia Studies program and the Diploma in Computer Science program. She also teaches Math 10 at the Faculty of Education. So her recent paper presentations are on gamification. In fact, she was part of the Moodle Moot Japan, where she presented Moodle gamification using Level Up plugin. And she also did a descriptive study on UPOU's offering through gamification. There. So today we have so many questions, but I guess to help us focus on your presentations and your sharing, I think the bit of it is would be looking at your innovative teaching practices in the courses with UPOU, and I'd also like to understand how you came about, learning this. Humuhugot ba kayo sa mga kaalaman at kakayahang ODeL o may iba pa kayong kaisipan o karanasang pinaguhugutan? Maganda siguro malaman na mapakinggan yon. Um, we're also interested with success stories as well as challenges, no? When you encountered the use of these approaches and also in terms of learning outcomes in your courses. So, good afternoon, and I hope you can start with your sharing for today. There, Prof. Julie is the first speaker.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, thank you very much. And good day, everyone who's watching this. And we hope to be able to receive some feedback as well after our presentation is done, so that we would also like to know your comments and your questions. Okay, let me share my screen. So sabi nga ni Aleta kanina, saan ka nga ba humuhugot? Bakit ka nakakaisip ng mga ganyan?
Yeah, and we can see your screen now. That's good.
Okay, so here. Okay, so we live in a VUCA world. Even before the pandemic, we're already discussing the VUCA world in public management, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and we have to add the letter D and digital, actually. So we are living in a VUCA world. And at the same time, we also know that the Sustainable Development Goals is just there about the 2030 already. We have to accomplish something by 2030, and the public servants should be aware. They are the implementors are the public servant. They play a very relevant role in the attainment of development goals. And of course, the UP Open U has articulated the concept of the university of the future. So these are the three things that have actually influenced me in my decision to redesign my courses. And what are the future skills? Ehlers and Kellerman, actually Ehlers, Ulf Ehlers, is a colleague that I've worked with for more than 10 years now. And he contacted me about writing something about future skills and the role of the universities. And he defined it as the individual's capability to successfully respond to and act on future changes and intricate problems in a self-organized way. So, the future-proof learners must possess the sense of agency in dealing with their own learning, and educators must simultaneously acknowledge the individuality of learners and the relationship with people who influence their learning. So actually, there are 17 future skills based on nextskills.org. This is what I'm looking at. There are several definitions, but they are more or less related. The ASEAN has come up also with their future skills profiles. The ADB, the ILO, they have all come up with these different kinds of future skills profiles. But for this, I have adopted the nextskills.org, which is composed of 17 future skills. So based on this, I've been reading a lot about it, and so I decided to redesign the courses so that they will be achieved by our public servants. Okay, but so first of all, I would like to inform our viewers that this is based on the context of the MPM program. So your program or other courses that you have might have different contexts. So please, the first thing that we should know is we should know who are our learners. So based on this, I would like to share with you the MPM persona. Based on my interview with them, with my survey with them, more or less about there are almost 70%, or in the MPM program, the women does not only hold half of the sky, but two-thirds of the sky, parang ganon. And the mean age is 35. So they are basically millennials. The age group of which is about 30 to 39 is composed of 50% of our students. And the age range could be from 20 to 23 years old to 66 years old. Can you imagine the 40 years gap between this, the youngest and the oldest? So we have to look at the persona. Who are our learners? So they are currently working in the technical aspect of governance. And then their office is basically in the national government. They're working in national government in various parts of the country. And the location of the office, about 40% or 39% of them are based in Metro Manila, meaning they're also based in urban areas, but basically they want to study via the ODeL mode. Okay, so in terms of content and format, we utilize the usual thing that we use the open educational resources that are available. And luckily, we have various formats already. And you can also provide updated resource. For example, there's the State of the Nation address by the president. You can ask the students, or they're already uploaded in YouTube or in the news. So you can actually ask them to watch them. So there are so for example, you can see also budget hearings done online, and you can watch them on news in YouTube. So you can actually deploy materials at updated materials. So your course becomes very current. Make sure that your course is very current. Of course, aside from that, you may also ask your students to include related webinars. For example, the Philippine Institute of Development Studies holds regular webinars that are related to your course, because they are all into public policy making. And of course, the Association of Schools of Public Administration in the Philippines and the Eastern Regional Organization in Public Administration, these are our networks for the program. If every time they have a webinar, we can ask always and share our students to watch them or participate in this webinar. So that means they should be very updated with what's happening. So, and that is in terms of content and format. So how about facilitation? We should allow personalized learning for our participants. So for example, in the discussion forum and in terms of asynchronous communication, I always think about whether it should be done by individual or group. I have to consider that there are more than 300 graduate students from the MPM program. And in a class, for example, in 201, we have about 60 students, 60 to 70 students. So it's not really, it's a huge class actually, double the size of a typical um, uh, course, which has about 30. So we also think about 300 words or more. Where did it come from? If because nowadays, if you write so much and people tend not to read. We know that our students now are not really so fond of reading because you have to emphasize to them that they have to read everything. Okay. So you have to think about it. I really have to test if it depends on the question that you are raising in the forum, if they would fill out 300 words or not. You, and then I also did some special forum so that if there are current issues, they could we could I we could discuss these issues so that students can choose which forum to answer. They can choose which one at the which topic in the Philippine Development Plan that they want to discuss. So I allow them to do their own thing. So it depends on their background. And sometimes a discussion forum could be a repository or um, for assignments so that to enable peer review so that their peers can also read what they are writing. So for example, for the synchronous communication as well, I usually hold at least 3 synchronous communication. One for the first sem, start of the first sem, just to make them sure that, hey, we are here, I'm here. So I'm a person that I am alive. I'm not a bot, so that they would feel at ease and to let us asking them how they are feeling. So yeah, last night we just had our first synchronous activity. And then in the middle of the sem, why mid-sem? Because in the 14 weeks that we have in our semester, at the middle, the interest or the motivation of the learners suddenly dips, because they are busy, they try to not to be very focused. So now I try to perk them up by holding another mid-sem synchronous activity just to say hello, how are you doing, how are you coping so far with the course, so that to make them again awake, to waken them up. And of course, the end of the sem, just to say for their presentation of assignments, and of course to also make an evaluation. And then, of course, I formed digital collaboration teams because we want them to collaborate with each other, because we've known that during the pandemic, it seems that public servants do not know how to cooperate with each other. So we want them to collaborate and cooperate and communicate with each other. So the good thing is you have to define your objectives of what you want them to do, give them, enumerate the activities, and give them tasks so they can choose among themselves. And for the output, expected output from them, you should allow your learners to design their own output. This is about design thinking. So making them now work on their own way, work on the kind of outputs that they want to come up with. Okay. And then for assignments, I usually give them, for example, different materials, but same output. For example, since my students, I know that a lot of our students are already using it, are very fond of watching Netflix or K-drama. So I also ask them to watch, a movie, or I want them to watch some YouTube videos and reflect on them. I usually give them options to choose from, and then they can work on an assignment. So this way they can choose which movie or video that they want to work on. So and at the same time, during the first semester or first week, they are already watching something in the class. So that's all. And for the final question, I know there must be some people who are curious. And do I use Chat GPT? Yes, I do. I've tried Chat GPT. And it can help you. It serves as an assistant, not a student assistant, where you can actually ask something. But in the field of public management, I know it's too early kasi marami pang mali-mali. So still, I heard that the other one The other software is much better, but I haven't tried it yet, but only I use ChatGPT. So let us not be afraid for it, but I'm very, very optimistic about its use. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Prof. Juvie. No, I was looking at some of your practices in your class, and I was like matching it with some of my practices, but way back in my K-12 experience where we do like we try to manage to balance the individualized activities with group activities. It works for children as well, and the idea of personalized learning, because we know that some students come to us with varied needs. So nakita ko rin na mahalaga yung kilala talaga natin yung profile nila, no? May naranasan ka bang ilang challenges pagdating sa mga peer work or activities na ginagawa ng mga estudyante mo in case?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Prof. Aleta. Yes, of course, there are many challenges. For example, during peer review, you know, the peer review process using discussion forum is not very participative. They only say, "Okay, that's a nice work." They only say that. So I think I have to adjust again. How many words should you at least say? It's not enough to just say, "Oh, that's nice." Okay. And the other thing is I also require them peer grading. Peer rating, um medyo kung minsan nag-participate ba o hindi. Even if despite sasabihin natin if they did not participate, just leave it lang. But again, some people would still uh give some grades, okay? Other people, other students would like to work on their own. They don't want to work as a group kasi parang sa kanila naghihintay ako, parang gano'n. So I also receive yung mga iba. And also the good thing is meron din namang isa na sa kakakulit ng mga groupmates nakatapos siya, nakapag-participate siya, pero wala siyang na-submit na iba. So that's also good thing to know kasi it's not only us when we have inactive students, di ba? It's not really not only us na tumitingin, kundi meron din siyang classmates na tumitingin, trying to contact that person, nasaan ka na, how are you coping, how are you doing, tapos dito pag nakipag-participate sila, so okay naman, pag hindi, so that is actually the challenge that you do, but don't be scared as an FIC. Don't be scared, just it's a trial and error thing as well, so you learn to improve on the process and the way you manage also yung mga activities.
Because I think usually what we try to do, if we try, for example, to experiment with a certain approach, definitely what comes with that is the trial and error. But we're quite nimble, no? Sometimes if we know our students well, we know that there's certain adjustments to be done, no, or undertaken. On my part, I really find it challenging when I get into large sized classes. Yan ang aking especially if it's going to be a GE. Alam natin yung number of enrollments. But I believe Professor Cecil Moldes, who is here with us, would definitely give us some innovative practices that she has tried with her GE courses, or maybe some would be under BAMS or the Diploma of Computer Science or Communication Studies there.
Yan, good afternoon
Good
po.
afternoon, Cecil. How are
Good
you?
afternoon. Yan, mag-share lang po ako ng slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's the chat box is pretty much open, right? For anyone who would have a question to the group, we'll note it there. Sige,
Ayan, okay na po.
go ahead.
So, yan. So, hello everyone. Again, as mentioned, I'm Cecil Moldes nga from FICS, and I'm here to share my experience in gamifying my courses in Open University. Yeah. Okay, so what is gamification, di ba? So, gamification is applying game mechanisms and elements to motivate and engage users. As what Ma'am Aleta said earlier, so most of my courses, the courses I handle in the university involves math. So, I get it that some students, even in traditional setups of classes, have prejudices about this subject. Yeah, and so I don't expect less in online classroom setup. So in my 8 years in ODeL teaching, students mentioned that they don't like math or they find math to be an interesting course. Yeah, and so that's why I introduced gamification in one of my undergrad courses. Yan. So things change when I introduced gamification. So again, gamification is also used in learning platforms to enhance motivation and engagement for the students and reduce dropouts. Okay. Ayusin ko lang yung view ko. Okay. Yan. Yan. So, what are the things that I did? Okay. Before the semester starts or the trimester, yan. So, these are the things that I did for my class. So, first, of course, the plan and the design of the materials. So, what are the modules to be included? I need to design the quizzes. I need to construct the discussion forum so that my students will interact to their classmates. So hindi lang ako yung nakikipag-usap sa kanila, hindi lang students to teacher. So I encourage them na through the design noong discussion forum na mag-usap din sila sa kanila. Then after kong mag-prepare ng mga materials, then chinek yung ating learning management system. Thankfully, yung My Portal ng UPOU or the MOODeL has features for gamification. Yan. We can use the badges and yung mga stars na naandon kung hindi pa kayo familiar sa gantong mga options ng MOODeL. So may mga tutorials naman sa site ng MOODeL for this. And also, may additional feature pa ang MOODeL for plugins, gamification plugins like Level Up. So, yan. So, I use Level Up para sa mga levels and leaderboards ng klase ko. Then, after kong ma-identify yung mga features ng LMS na meron ako, then, ginamify ko na yung course. Yan, nilagay ko yung mga activities. Pero, well, yung mind ko is i-gamify yung course, dapat hindi pa rin masasuffer or hindi pa rin mawawala na ma-deliver yung requirements and activities ng course. So, yung ordinary module or units, halimbawa, ng ating klase, it can be treated as game levels. Yeah, diba? The students or the players, I call them players sa kaming class, must earn enough points to proceed to the next level. So before you makapunta sa next module, kailangan magawa mo muna itong mga activities na to sa module, sa previous module. There are multiple ways to earn points sa klase ng gamified course. So points can be earned through reading the course guides, yan, reading the submission ng assignments, yan, taking the quiz, watching the video lectures. So, yon. So, those activities, may mga points siya kapag ginawa mo. Then, yung ordinary discussion forums, na sabi ko nga kanina, na magtatanong si teacher, mag-reply si student, pwede rin siyang way to earn points. So, kapag nag-reply si student sa kanyang classmate, every reply, every post ng student sa discussion forum, nag-earn sila ng points. So, yon. So, hindi lang siya nagiging one way or two yung interaction, kundi matututo din sila dun sa mga classmates nila. Yan. And last, after mong ma-set up or after kung ma-set up yung gamified course, dapat lagi nating tinatrack and minomonitor yung progress ng ating mga students. Of course, magbibigay din tayo ng mga rewards. Yan, dito sila masaya sa mga badges, yan, yung mga stars, kasi if i-further explore nyo yung my portal or yung Moodle, meron dun capacity na maglagay ng star si student. So, interactive yung yan. Then, of course, students and teachers can track their achievements through the leaderboard. Yun, as mentioned earlier na yung level up plugins has leaderboard. So, yun. Next. Okay. So, ayan. Ito po yung itsura ng aking bali, dalawa lang tong screenshots na nilagay ko from my current course sa ComSci 2-on-1. So, UPOU's LMS, yun, my portal has already gamification feature. As you can see, these are the badges na dinefine ko for the course. And also the level up leaderboard, where you can see the progress of each students. For this presentation, ginawa ko lang siyang para hindi ma-reveal yung name ng mga students ko, kaya nakalagay dyan someone else. Yan. Pero as the game master, I can track their progress and I can see their names. Okay. Yan. So, some results of our previous studies includes improvement sa completion rate. So, once natapos yung course, we can get the completion rate. So, the completion rate is the percentage of the students who finished the course and complied with their course requirements. So, with the gamified class, 91%, 91.18% ang completion rate. While those same courses that I taught years before, they have on the average 83% completion rate. Also, grades of the students improve. So, the gamified class, from the 2.5 average of the previous courses I had, yung gamified class has 1.5 grade on the as their average. And lastly, yung overwhelming response and feedbacks ng mga students. And I will read some, medyo hindi ko lang siya na-include sa slides, pero ito yung sabi ng iba kong estudyante. Gamification. This encouraged me to participate in every discussion forum we have. Other students said, the gamification of this subject is engaging and quite fun. And another student said, the class is perfect as it is. I wouldn't do anything. No pressure, fun, exciting, and get to collab and meet my classmates. Thank you. So those were the responses from my previous class. Yan. So, yan. So what will be the next step? For me, I think, na for this gamification plans. So we did gamification for MOOCs. So last year I had a chance to gamify MOOCs. We also did gamification for undergrad class. So one of my class last year was also gamified. And now I am currently teaching courses for graduate students, and I incorporate gamification as well. So the next will be gamification with AI. I think it's interesting to explore that area, that the response and everything that you can get with AI through with gamification. I think that will be another thing to discuss in the future. That's all. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Cecil. Naging curious ako dun sa level up as a plug-in. So when you first tried it, ano yung mga
I mean, when you first tried that, I mean, what were your struggles or adjustments that you had to, go through, and when did you finally say that, yes, you were able to maximize its use in your course?
Mhm. Before, before the level up, yan, before
Uh,
discovering the level up, yan. So,
uh,
focus po kami dun sa features lang ng Moodle without the level up. So, the
uh,
badges, yun, yung inherit
uh,
ng Moodle natin. Then, the problem is parang kulang. So, then, nung nagkaroon nga po ng idea na, meron palang level up
na
na
plug-in.
plugins for gamification, pero hindi po siya agad na-install or na-incorporate
Yeah.
sa My Portal natin kasi
Uh,
iba po yung treatment sa My Portal. That's why we
uh,
decided to gamify the MOOCs offering sa
okay.
model
So,
model.
ano,
So doon po namin siya tinry yung level
uh,
up. Then okay naman po yung naging response yan. Tapos yun nga, as I said, yung pong gamified courses ko is from undergrad, graduate
yeah,
students, and MOOCs. They have different ways, parang they have
good
yung
response.
pagkakatanggap
Oh,
doon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oo.
So, of course, the undergrad students are the parang sila yung
Oo.
excited,
Oo.
sila yung
Oo.
nag-enjoy sa ano. But I'm currently doing it sa graduate class ko. So I'll have the comparison after this term.
Okay. Oo. Tinitignan mo kasi parang, kung plug-in siya, nandito na ba siya sa aking course, sinisilip ko. So, maganda
Yes,
ba't
ma'am.
sinubukan niyo muna, no? Kasi kasama talaga yan when we do some kind of innovation in our courses that we try it out. We have a demo space where we can do that, or maybe try it out with a small group na alam natin, no, that it will succeed, and then eventually we see, no, in what ways it isn't working. So, dito ba sa mga graduate students mo ngayon, at least yung much, you can say some of them would be mature age, no? Um, so minsan ba they get lost, or how do you go about that if in case they have those
Opo.
hesitations? Yeah.
Yan. So, medyo nakakapansin na po ako ng difference as
Uh-huh.
early as now, in 2 weeks pa lang sa class. Before, sa undergrad class ko, first 2 weeks ng class is overwhelming na yung response. Andiyan na, dagsa na yung DFs.
Uh-huh.
But up to now, my graduate students, wala pa po silang response sa DF namin. So,
Kahit gamified na siya, no? I mean,
yes.
kahit
Now, ang ginawa ko po is, kasi I cannot expect them to have the same response with the undergrad kasi nga working sila.
yeah, that's
So,
the
yeah.
time.
So, nag-include po ako ng non-gamified materials or options for those students na they have barely time to accomplish their requirements because busy sila sa trabaho nila. So, yun po yung changes na nagawa ko dito sa graduate students. Meron akong option for non-gamified materials.
So, mabilis mong nakita yon, no? Just the
Mm-mm.
first week. Totoo
Yes.
yan eh, yung participation during the first week, no? You can sense who will have the time right away and then introduce themselves. Pero kasama talaga yan eh. Yun yung range of learners natin na kailangan natin, pakitunguhan, and then, you do some differentiated stuff to help them through because we need to be able to reach out to all types of learners in our courses, right? Yan. So, meron ba tayong interesting questions from the live audience? Um, Perhaps the tech support team can put it here in the chat box. There. Okay. So, let me just uh check this one. Okay. So, in case with what you're doing in your courses right now, do you foresee any what's this maybe arising problems if we haven't undertaken all these practices that you explained to us, no? Ano usually yung nangyayari sa courses when we get into that phase when we parang it's like we're doing the same things over and over again, di ba? Kasi hindi naman tayo laging, switch on when we are in your courses. So what do you know, what can you say about those things, no?
I think, for me, usually kasi, individual work. Kasi nga alam mo very busy sila, tawag nito ayaw nilang mag-work. Yung initial years kasi they want to work on their own, 'di ba? At their own pace and time nga. Eh, ba't pa ako
Ah,
makipag-group work, 'di ba? Eh, ibig sabihin na nakikisama pa ako, eh, busy nga
ah,
ako. So, but then, hindi ganito, hindi ganito dapat, mag-work, dapat, kailangan medyo baguhin din natin yung strategy. So I try to employ it, and then I get good feedback like, hindi namin ma'am ni-realize kasi I conducted a survey, based on this, group task, and ang feedback is ngayon lang namin naintindihan ma'am yung SDGs. Pero can you imagine yung SDGs na very critical ang role nila sa SDGs. Ngayon lang namin, tapos sabi nung iba, um, yung ano, yun daw natututunan, hindi nila alam that while they are studying, yung akala nila content lang, pero nade-develop pala yung kanilang future skills. Meaning, natuto silang mag-collaborate, natuto silang mag-design, thinking, and I'm sure they're using also ChatGPT kasi nag-animation na sila sa mga presentation nila. So, gumagamit sila ng mga voice over, mga ganun. So, yun yung medyo na-impress talaga ako na meron pala magaganda pala yung output nila na nung event noon, yung output nila was limited to text, parang ganyan. Kasi based sa yung format. Pero when I asked them already to come up with their various formats, ang gaganda na ang format nila. May kunwari pa may mga pictures pa sila that they include everything, yung mga yun. Sabi ko, um, meron palang ano, may chance, tawag nito na natututunan nila yung mga SDGs, merong ibang way rather than just reading them, but they're working on it already. So those materials are, even shared to their classmates. So para sa akin, natutuwa na ako kasi yun yung and then there was one feedback na sa first sem ko pa lang ma'am sa UPOU, parang nakita ko na-notice ko na nag-improve po yung writing skills ko. Wow, talaga naman. Tawag dito. And then may yung isa naman daw, nalaman lang na ako'y nag-aaral sa UP ng masters, lagi na akong pinapatawag sa office para hinihingin yung aking ano opinion. So, I mean, natututo na sila yung mga ibang skills na aside from only the content, pero meron na silang say, they can communicate already what they want. So, yun ang ano, napansin ko.
okay, sorry, na ano yung ko. But anyway, how about you, Ma'am Cecil, no? Parang if you were trying to compare, for example, um yung teaching practices nyo maybe way back and now that you got into your ODeL practice here with UPOU, and then the spread, no, of doing undergrad courses and also grad level courses, parang how is your adjustment with that in terms of grad and then undergrad, and also in relation to the innovations that you had to undertake, no?
Yun po. So as mentioned earlier po, no. So bukod sa pag differentiate ng students ko na undergrad and grad na talagang in-expect ko na different sila, yung materials itself. So before, sa undergrad, yung discussion forum namin is talagang kapag nag-post ako, doon muna tayo sa gamified course. Kapag nag-post ako, just nagre-reply lang sila. After that, okay, graded na ako. Tapos na yan. So, pero dun sa gamified, dun po sa undergrad, gamified. So, after nila mag-respond, then since may points silang kinukuha, lahat ng post ng classmates nila, nire-replyan nila. So, of course, within the context of the topic din naman. And sa start, I think they are doing it for the points. Pero later on, kahit hindi na ako nag-assign ng point, naging ano na yung interaction nila na parang naging spontaneous na hindi ko na sila kailangan i-encourage. Now, dito sa graduate class, so I said I think it's too early for me to say na hindi sila ganun wala sila masyadong time. Wala sila masyadong time to interact with their classmates. But I think that's a challenge for me. Still,
Okay.
I'm still trying to ano ba, tuklasan kung ano yung best way for them, so that I think it's just breaking the ice.
Mm-mm.
So once may mag-start na, then everyone magtutuloy-tuloy na. Yan.
Mm-mm. So, siguro bahagi ng pagiging innovative yun, no? Bilis ng bilis ng pagbasa tsaka innovative pag-isip, no, ng ibang posibilidad para sa ating mga estudyante. Nabanggit mo ni Ma'am Juvie kanina yung ChatGPT, no? Tapos ganun din tinitingnan ko yung binanggit mong future direction sa nabanggit mo na gamification mo and with the use of AI. Pwede ka magkwento kung ano yung naisip mong mga susubukan mo pang gawin. O baka naman
Wow.
meron na na nagagamit na pala sa klase at kamusta naman?
Ako ba yun?
Pareho I think kay Cecil muna sa gamification, yung
Opo.
future
Okay.
directions niya with the
Opo.
gamification. Oo.
Nag-search ako, actually meron. Kaya possible. Specifically, gusto ko pong i-target yung mga response. Kasi usually, kapag meron kang gamified class plus may discussion forum kayo, 500 posts a day ay re-replyan mo po. So,
Oo.
kailangan mo siyang tingnan, kailangan mo siyempre somehow mag-respond sa kanila. Yon. So, kapag may AI, parang I think dun ko siya gustong magamit sa pag-respond do sa mga estudyante. So that ma-feel nila na may tao sa likod ng kanilang classroom.
Oo.
Mhm.
Isa yan sa mga sinubukan yatang gawin ng grupo ni Sir Rob sa kanyang ASEAN network, no? Nag-present siya nagkwento, no, kung ano nang sinusubukan ng mga ibang professors, no, ng mga innovations. Tapos parang nabanggit doon, kasama ang AI. So, sinusubukan na nila, tapos nakakatulong kahit paano kasi minsan kaya niya mag-predict ng grade, no? Depende
Yes.
sa posting o siguro sa learning analytics na nababasa nila dun sa site, no? Sa inyo, Ma'am Juvie, meron ka na bang nasubukan? Tsaka nagiging issue ba siya? Or tingin niyo na tingin mo makakatulong? Or ano kaya? Meron ka bang mga ilang ground rules, no?
Okay. Yung sa pag-try, di ba, ay nakalinya sana na gagawin kong VR yung history of public education in the Philippines. So I was also trying to use ChatGPT, baka sakaling makatulong. Pero yun nga, medyo malayo-layo pa. Medyo
Ah,
talagang kailangan ako pa talaga ang gagawa kasi medyo iba-iba yung context ni
ah,
ChatGPT. I mean, sinubukan ko naman lahat ng prompts na dapat relevant na pwedeng niyang para mas ma-focus. Pero nakailang questions na yata ako, ilang prompts na, parang hindi pa rin nagbabago-bago at naiiba ng history. So anyway, sabi ko malayo-layo pa siguro it's also my one way of looking kung yung mga estudyante ba pwede na sila mag-rely sa ChatGPT. 'Di ba? So, ako mismo susubukan ko and parang sabi ko parang malayo-layo pa kasi siyempre if you're talking at the local context, medyo malayo-layo hindi pa naman siguro marami pang nailagay sa internet para dun i-harvest yung mga information needed. So, yun yung, ano ko, yung nasa isip ko na gagawin for that. So, yung mga iba pang mga ano, yung gamify na sinasabi nila, ibang hindi talaga siya yung aided by the by the portal. Pero yung mga usually na ginagamit ko lang na gamification during synchronous activity. Like they have to present a project, kunwari gawad kalinga kami, bibigyan kami ng award, i-showcase mo ngayon yung project mo and then bibigay kami ng award para dun sa best in project from your LGU. So mga ganun yung gamification namin. Medyo hindi talaga siya yung gamification na may mga badges. Kaya, kasi nga, yung learners, kaya sabi nga ni Ses kanina, yung sa graduate students, busy sila, medyo hindi sila nagpa-participate. Baka hindi rin kasi ma-appreciate. Kaya more of the practical things na ginagawa namin. The other thing is, aside from yung AI, syempre yung mga micro learning courses na pwedeng i-upload sana, 'di ba? Na parang mga 2 minutes, 3 minutes na pwedeng isama sana sa mga courses. So, gumawa ako, tawag nito parang pero una ko lang muna para magamit ko sa mga courses na hawak ko is parang tungkol sa plagiarism. So, gumawa lang ako doon ng animation para sa plagiarism. So, nasa isip ko that I'm going to create more mga micro courses, mga 2 minutes, 3 minutes na mga short na gano'n para lang ma-upload sa mga ibang topics, para lang tulungan ko lang maintindihan pa yung context. So, yun yung aking
So
context
parang
doon.
form of scaffolding yun, ano?
Hmm.
Parang bits na nilalagay mo tapos dahil mabilis lang siya, no? Yung bagay siya dun
Oo.
sa attention na pwedeng ibigay ng student tapos nun, maybe it can trigger some kind of curiosity and then they go on to start, no, learning again on
Yes.
their own or interacting with the content because yeah, I can imagine for some it will be difficult because the tendency before is like we pump and dump some readings, 'di ba? Kasi yun yung kaya
Yes,
ng ano
oo.
yun yung kaya ng ng platform noon. Pero, the students engage pero iba pa rin 'no, mas nabubuhay 'no. I think yun yung salitang naiisip ko, mas buhay yung klase, yung interaction natin. Tapos tayo din as teachers 'no, yung engagement
Mm.
natin o yung ating teaching presence nag-i-improve kasi I mean
Yun siguro, Ale, tama sabi ko lang 'no, darating kasi yung point siyempre tagal-tagal ko na nagtuturo ano,
oo.
hindi naman ako nag-leave. So darating yung point na meron ka ring talagang, "Oh, ano ba
Oh.
magagawin ko?" Parang alam mo yun, yung meron ka ring islang time na,
Oo,
parang ano ba
true.
magagawin ko? Kasi
Oo,
parang naka-autopilot ka na. So parang ayaw
oo,
mo na mag-isip kung ano pang susunod, ano next na naman. Kasi sa kabisihan mo, you don't have time to update, you don't have time na parang ano pa ba. So, and then, I have about 60, 70 students. So, kumukuha na ako ngayon ng tutor ko, FIC, na younger one, you know.
oo,
So, na iba na yung background para mahawaan ako. Alam mo, yun, mabigyan ako ng ibang ideas din, di
oo,
ba? So, hindi lang ako yung nagde-determine, kundi meron din pala. Tapos sabi ko, "Oh, sige,
oo,
maganda." I tell that person, yung co-FIC ko na ito yung na-envision ko. Halimbawa,
oo,
gusto kong manood sila ng movie kasi watch ng watch yung mga Netflix, ganyan. So, dapat pakinabangan natin yung kahilig nila manood. So, gusto ko manood ng movie. Pwede ka bang maghanap ng movie na open source? Di ba? Ang hirap-hirap kaya nun, yung libre lang. So, maghanap. So, sabi niya, okay, sige po, maghahanap
oo,
ako. So, at least, di ba, parang, meron ding nagko-compliment dun sa mga iniisip mo. So, gusto ko special forum. So, tama bang ginagawa ko o hindi? Kasi 'di ba tendency 'pag mag-isa ka lang nagtuturo, parang ikaw na lahat yung manager, lahat yun. Pero if meron
oo.
kang kabatuhan,
Tama yun,
hindi
yun
ka
yung
makakarating sa Islam,
oo,
'di ba?
oo,
So because
parang
you have also to evolve, otherwise you become a fossil. Who wants to
yeah.
fossilize? Ayaw. Yun.
Gusto yung word mo, pero iba talaga yung effect kag meron kang co-FIC o no, co-teacher, hindi lang naman siya kailangan ano no, laging taga-OU. Minsan kumukuha, yun yung value minsan na we have adjuncts or affiliates no in our team and then when they become our co-FICs, they also bring in a different ano no, dynamics to the group, 'di ba? Kasi ito yung baka kasi hindi alam ng ibang mga estudyante diyan na inaaral din namin ang mga gusto namin gawin sa klase. Kasama siya sa pagiging teacher, yung inaaral natin what else to do, how else we can improve engagement, and it helps a lot when we have, colleagues and peers that we can refer to, or maybe make become our sounding boards, and then we do better in our courses, no? Kasi
Yan.
minsan may ibang mga large size classes din, 'di ba? Yun yun din siguro yung value na meron silang tutors, or kung may kahati talaga sila or co-teacher. May ibang, no? May ibang nadadala sa loob ng klase. Ganun lang naman. Okay, it's 2:51. Baka naman meron pang ibang no? Tanong na hindi ko nakikita, ha? Kasi minsan
Opo.
meron pa bang questions? Pero syempre ang nais ko talagang siguro mapag-isipan pa ninyo kung ano yung sigurong final advice nyo, o mga panghuling salita, lalo na sa mga tagapakinig natin o dyan sa audience, no, na siguro yung iba sa kanila baguhan, no, sa pagtuturo online, or kahit minsan siguro yung approaches na ginagamit actually natin online, magagamit natin sa mga blended learning classes o sa face-to-face nating sessions. Anong mabibigay ninyong payo? Yan.
Yan.
Sige. Ma'am Cecil.
Okay po. So, before doon sa advice, yan, gusto ko lang din po i-share, especially sa mga faculty sa UU yan. As what Ma'am nabanggit po kanina na ang hirap mag-prepare ng mga modules natin kasi nga minsan busy. Yan. So, I'm thankful po sa ICTADO na they let me utilize the We portal, kung familiar po kayo doon. So, my portal yun sa ating course site. Tapos, We portal, ito po yung parang playground ng my portal. So, they let me use my course na nakalagay doon sa We portal. Then, I can mimic my classroom, lagay ko lahat ang gusto ko doon, didesign ko. So that kapag dumating na or doon na yung time na i-open na yung my portal, kokopyahin ko na lang. So, yun po yung one way to prepare for the gamification activities. Yan. For the advice po yon sa you can have fun while learning course, especially math ang klase mo. Kailangan mong pakasaya. Kailangan mo i-convince ang mga estudyante mong masaya ang math. So, especially in ODeL courses, there are limitless ways to innovate your instructional approach. Finding what works best for you and your students may require an effort, but the result will surely be rewarding. Yun po. Thank you po.
Thank you. How about si Prof. Juby?
Yeah, para sa mga FICs, don't be scared to innovate. Alam natin yun. We have a clear view. Sabi ko nga, as long as you know your learners, so you know what they want, you have an idea kung ano yung kailangan nila. So, ako nga every SEM, you might want to include, edit something in your course every SEM. So, try to at least change something every SEM, add something new in your course every SEM. Kahit alam mo naman paulit-ulit, ito na naman. So, try something new every SEM. It's the way you design the assignment, or siguro mga rubrics mo. So, try something new. And then, you should allow also yung personalized learning para may freedom din yung students, para makita din maka-explore din siya. They can come up with their own outputs, makapamili siya kung ano yung gusto niyang sulatin. Tawag dito, syempre, hindi mo dapat i-compromise din yung mga ibang bagay na, halimbawa, mga number of sentences o number of words, para naman pare-pareho. Pag nag-rubrics ka, pare-pareho. So they can choose the topic that they want to work on. So, and then finally, yun nga sabi ko kanina, don't be scared to innovate. And don't be scared sa ChatGPT na laging ngayon parang minsan nasa-sense ko na medyo maraming intimidated with the ChatGPT. It serves as a research assistant. Isipin nyo na it's a tool, tawag dito, na nandyan lang siya. Pwede mong gamitin or hindi mo rin gamitin. So don't be scared kasi there is a study na parang nagsasabi na about 61% of the professors daw gumagamit ng ChatGPT, samantalang yung estudyante, mga 50% na sa kanila gumagamit. So, konting-konti na lang. So, it's something new, something that, well, we should be optimistic about, na baka pwedeng makatulong sa atin. Tawag dito, huwag na po tayong matakot kasi yung estudyante natin, yung mga plagiarism, mga ganyan. So, it's something na we should look forward to. At isa rin yung challenge kasi tama 'tong ginagawa ninyo sa ODeL. Talagang capacity development talaga para sa mga faculty natin, sa mga teachers kasi, sa mga dami ng pangyayari, the way as I mentioned a while ago, yung mga future skills na 'yan, hindi pa masyadong nare-review kung nai-incorporate ba talaga at na-integrate ba talaga ng mga faculty, ang mga teachers to mga future skills na ito. So, we still have to conduct a study kung talagang lahat ng mga teachers at anong kailangan nilang mga micro-credential courses siguro para ma-integrate yung mga future skills na to. So, anyway, good luck sa ating mga teachers. Tawag nito, laban lang. Yun, salamat.
Maraming salamat. So thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts. Maybe some of you still have questions in your minds, but at least we've had time to discuss no a few things today and something that you will take away from this open talks. Now you may contact our speakers and open talk team to share other questions or even suggestions for this um ODeL and any other things that you'd like covered. No, we'll be having a series of open talk sessions focusing on open distance and e-learning, and so the next few ones will be related to assessments, large size classes, or even facilitation of online learning, and which relates to critical thinking in our courses there. So maraming salamat, Prof. Juvie and Prof. Cecil. Salamat din, Sir Baggy. Nakasama mo kami at ang buong team no, ng CODTL.
Maraming salamat din.
Salamat din po.
Magkakaroon tayo rin pala ng evaluation. Ilalagay natin dito. Sana magkaroon ng winners. Ayan. Okay. So you can see there how to access. We have a QR code and the URL. Okay, we can announce the winners in the next open talk. We'll try to do this monthly. So we look forward to the same group. And maybe additional no, people from the audience could participate there. Thank you very much.